and welcome to the garden today. We are temporarily in the garden today, but what I want to do is quickly introduce you to the small herb garden that I have got going here. I am over, hopefully the next year or so, going to actually have a medicinal and culinary herbal garden, which is going to be absolutely awesome to have. So you guys, if you want to keep up to date with what's going to happen with that, you're going to have to hit the subscribe button and keep up to date with what I'm going to be doing in the herb garden. But today I had brought a couple of my herb plants that I had down in the garden up to this area so that I could transplant them and give them a really good haircut. So the one I'm going to be talking to you today about is thyme. So in my area here in the southwest of Western Australia, I've actually managed to have thyme grow all year round. So this particular one was planted in the summer season of 2021, and it is now the beginning of the summer season 2022. So it has been 12 months inside this pot, and it is definitely time for a really good haircut. This is the second time I've given this a haircut. I have done it before, but today I will be transplanting it and pulling it apart so that it has some more root space and it has some fresh soil that has got some really nice nutrients in it. So you've just watched me pretty much hack the top of this plant off. Please don't stress, guys. I will put a photo somewhere just about here so that you can see what it looks like several weeks later and after it had been transplanted as well. It will come back as long as it has some little bits of greenery in there, and it will thrive again and produce you more thyme. Theoretically, the herb thyme, not time as in time of the day. Though, wouldn't that be nice to have a whole bunch more thyme in our day? Alright guys, seriously, what we're here today to do is to have a look at what it takes to dehydrate our thyme. So let's get into the kitchen now, get this cleaned up and get this into the dehydrator. So step one here, guys, is to put your thyme in a bucket or a sink or whatever it is you've got of water to give it a soak for a few minutes to help loosen up any dirt or any bugs that are in there will float to the top because they can't breathe underwater. I know that sounds cruel, but at least that way the bugs are not in your food and you can either release or, if you need to, flush them down the sink. Anyway, guys, once you have done that and you've let them soak for a few minutes, you need to get your dehydrated trays organized. And in my case, I had to mute what is going on in the background because everybody decided to come in and decided that it was time to ask me, "What's for dinner, Mum?" So I now have dinner to sort out along with my thyme. But anyway, once the thyme has soaked for a few minutes, probably about 5 or 10 minutes or so is plenty, give it a wash under some fresh running water to wash any extra bits and pieces out of it. Stick it into a colander and just let it sit there for a little while to drain out all the excess water. Now, it is not necessary to completely dry off your thyme using paper towels and dishcloths and whatever else. The dehydrator will dry it for you, so you don't need to completely dry it off. So once you've done all of that, you just need to lay it out on your dehydrated trays. The thickness, it really depends on how many trays you've got. If you've already got a dehydrator full of other stuff, then you might only get 1 or 2 in, put some extra in on that tray. It really just depends on how many trays you've got, what size of trays you are, etc. Now, the drying time for this will absolutely vary depending on how thick you're putting it on the trays, but don't worry, it will dehydrate. Thyme and most herbs generally dehydrate really quite quickly. The temperature you want to set this at is about 125 Fahrenheit or 55 or 52 degrees, I think it is. Mine just tells me on the top what I need to turn it on to. It has all the different settings on it. So just check your manual to see what you need to set yours to. Now we're off out to the preserving kitchen, which is the caravan I've designed, guys. I'll link the video on how I put this caravan together for you at the end, so you can have a look at what I use to do a lot of my dehydrating and some of my food prepping. So basically now we're just putting it into the dehydrator, turning the dehydrator on and letting it do its thing. So then, guys, don't forget about the dehydrator several hours later. I usually put mine in the late afternoon and let it go all night until the morning when I get up. So that way that it definitely gets at least the 12 hours that I like most things to have as a minimum before I start checking. So once you've checked, guys, listen close. You'll hear the sound it makes when it's ready to be removed. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this into a bowl, and then I'm going to take it into the kitchen and I'm going to show you how I'm going to get all the little bits of thyme off of it. By the way, it doesn't matter if the stalks are not dried through, because we're not going to be using those to make our thyme with. There are lots and lots of different ways to actually get the thyme, the little tiny thyme leaves off of the stalks. Now, the way I'm going to be doing it is using a bowl with a colander inside it. And for some reason, guys, every time I do a video for you guys, I always end up with my broken one. I do have 3 of these, a complete white one, another one with a red rim, which is not broken. But anyway, so the process is basically to rub or pull or however it is you want to get the thyme leaves off of the stalks. You just do it however you can get them off there. So once they're all being pulled off of there, I'm going to put them through the colander again and get as many of the little tiny little stalks as possible out of there, and just that way I can pretty much just have the leaves. So there is no special equipment that you need. Whatever you've got at home, however you can do it, just get in there and do it. So once you've done all of this, guys, all you need to do to store it is just put it into a jar or whatever it is you like to store your dried goods into. Put the lid on it, date it, and put the name of it on there, and then put it on the shelf ready to use. And that is as simple as it is for thyme and a lot of other herbs as well. So now that that is done, guys, you remember those little stalks that we've got left over that have got no leaves left on them? Well, don't throw them out just yet. Thyme has not only a culinary or kitchen use, it also has a medicinal use as well. You can go and research that for yourself. I'm not going to be covering that in this video. Maybe in the future I will be doing a section on the medicinal uses of herbs, but not today. So basically I am going to chop all those little the stalks up, and I'm going to use them to make myself a cup of thyme tea. Guys, I'm going to leave you there today with all of that information. If you need or have any more questions, just leave me a comment down below. But in the meantime, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave. The links to Gardening with Mumma Bear, Cooking with Mumma Bear, and Preserving with Mumma Bear, which is where you are at the moment, are all down in the description, along with any videos that I feel may be relevant for you guys to check out as well. So till next time, happy preserving!